There it goes. Okay, I was looking at the almanac, and there's a sign that I need to tell you about for all the first responders and emergency people. The sign is Ophelius. That's the serpent bearer sign, and there's the 12 signs of the zodiac. And Ophelius is a constellation that is between Scorpio and Sagittarius. And when the moon has a little wobble, it'll go into the sign of Ophelius. And in June of 2023, we got full moon on the 3rd of the month, and Ophelius is on the 4th of June. So our bodies are 66% water. So when we have full moon, the lunatics come out to play, and we have all kinds of stuff happen during that time of full moon. And now we got Ophelius and full moon the 4th of June 2023. And then on the 8th of May, we got Ophelius. But it's the full moon's on the 5th, so it'll be a strong moon on the 8th of May. And then we got Ophelius again the 11th of April. So be real careful during those times. The lunatics, the people of darkness, will be out there playing. So be careful. And all you emergency responders, get ready to work a double shift. Okay, I think most of you know all about full moon. Okay, John 6, we're going to start back at John 6:43. I have come in my Father's name, and you will not receive me. If another comes in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe who receive honor from one another and do not seek the honor that comes from the only God? Do not think I shall accuse you to the Father. There is one who accuses you, Moses, in whom you trust. For if you believe Moses, you would believe me, for he wrote about me. But if you do not believe his writings, how will you believe my words? And this is John 6. After these things, Jesus went over the Sea of Galilee, which is the Sea of Tiberias. Then a great multitude followed him, because they saw his signs which he performed on those who were diseased. And Jesus went up on the mountain, and there he sat with his disciples. Now Passover is determined by the spring equinox, the angle of the sun on the earth. Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus is the light of the world, sunlight. You got the angle of the sun on the earth causes the spring equinox, and the spring equinox is around March the 21st. Now, the Passover, a feast of the Jews, was near. Then Jesus lifted up his eyes, and seeing a great multitude coming toward him, he said to Philip, Where shall we buy bread, and these may eat? But this he said to test him, for he himself knew what he would do. Philip answered him, 200 denarii worth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may have a little. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said to him, There is a lad here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 small fish. But what are they among so many? Then Jesus said, Make the people sit down. And there was much grass in the place. So the men sat down in number about 5,000. And Jesus took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed them to the disciples, and the disciples to those sitting down, and likewise of the fish as much as they wanted. So when they were filled, he said to his disciples, Gather up the fragments that remain, so that nothing is lost. Therefore they gathered them up and filled 12 baskets with the fragments of the 5 barley loaves, which were left over by those who had eaten. Then those men, when they had seen the sign that Jesus did, said, "This is truly the prophet who is come into the world." Therefore, when Jesus perceived that they were about to come and take him by force to make him king, he departed again to the mountain by himself. Now, Israel had been taken by the Romans, and they hated being under the Roman rule. But the Romans ruled Israel at the time. He departed again to the mountain by himself alone. Now when evening came, his disciples went down to the sea, got into the boat, and went over the sea toward Capernaum. And it was already dark, and Jesus had not come to them. When the sea arose, because a great wind was blowing, so when they had rowed about 3 or 4 miles, they saw Jesus walking on the sea and drawing near the boat, and they were afraid. But he said to them, "It is I, do not be afraid." Then they willingly received him onto the boat, and immediately the boat was at the land where they were going. On the following day, when the people who were standing on the other side of the sea saw that there was no other boat there except the one which his disciples had entered, and that Jesus had not entered the boat with his disciples, but the disciples had gone away alone. However, other boats came from Tiberias near the place where they ate bread after the Lord had given thanks. When the people therefore saw that Jesus was not there, nor his disciples, they also got into boats and came into Capernaum seeking Jesus. And when they found him on the other side of the sea, they said to him, "Rabbi, when did you get here? When did you come here?" Jesus answered them and said, "Most assuredly I say to you, you seek me not because you saw the signs, but because you ate the loaves and were filled. Do not labor for the food which perishes, for the food which endures to everlasting life, which is the Son of Man, which give you, because God the Father has set his seal on him." Then they said to him, "What shall we do that we may work the works of God?" Jesus answered and said to them, "This is the work of God, that you believe in him whom he sent." Therefore they said to him, "What sign will you perform then, that we may see it and believe you? What work you do? Our fathers ate the manna in the desert, as it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat." Then Jesus said to them, "Most assuredly I say to you, Moses did not give you the bread from heaven, but my Father gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is he who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world." Then they said to him, "Lord, give us this bread always." And Jesus said to them, "I am the bread of life. He who comes to me shall never hunger, and he who believes in me shall never thirst. But I said to you that you have seen me, and yet you do not believe. All that the Father gives me will come to me, and the one who comes to me I will by no means cast out. For I have come down from heaven, not to do my own will, but the will of him who sent me. This is the will of the Father who sent me, that all he has given me I should lose nothing, but should raise it up on the last day. And this is the will of him who sent me, that everyone who sees the Son and believes in him may have everlasting life, and I will raise him up at the last day." The Jews then complained about him because he said, "I am the bread which came down from heaven." And they said, "Is not this Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How is it then that he says, 'I have come down from heaven'?" Jesus therefore answered and said to them, "Do not murmur among yourselves. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him up the last day. It is written by the prophets, and they shall be taught by God. Therefore anyone who has heard and learned from the Father comes to me. Not that anyone has seen the Father, except he who is from God. He has seen the